The K right to the side sex, leave the fire and the roof style stuff on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Du Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Du Valley.
Good evening and welcome to Terrace Talk and our second edition of Meet the Miller. Today we've got somebody I've known a long time. Used to beat him at pool quite often. We've got Richard Shelswood with us. How you doing, Richard?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. Obviously, you've been a Miller for 35 years. I've known you for, God, I can't remember how many years I've known you now. We've known each other a while. Used to play pool together. So the first question I'm going to go into asking you, Richard, is when did you first realise you was a Miller? How did you get into supporting Rotherham?
So it's quite a sort of bit of a story behind it. So through, sort of like most people, like through my dad. But my dad is the eldest of his brothers and sisters. So my granddad was actually blue and white. Now, the next door neighbour to him growing up had a son about the same age as my dad. So my dad just asked one day, can I come with you? Anyway, he went to the match and he was hooked. And then obviously brought me up as a Rotherham fan. So we're kind of the black sheep of the family because all the rest of the family's blue and white. So it's quite it's weird.
Yeah, so it's very similar to myself because obviously you knew. Obviously, I've never lived in Rotherham ever. I've always lived in Sheffield, and like I said, most of my family support either Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday. So at school, it was quite tough being the only Miller. So I feel your pain, mate, and we've both got us dads to blame.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like you say, at school I think there was only 3 of us at school, to be honest.
We didn't.
Growing up as well was.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the Rotherham school, so that's because obviously we're sort of that time Rotherham weren't the greatest of teams either. So, and the Sheffield club, especially Wednesday, were quite big at the time. I think they got into Europe and stuff. So yeah, it was a difficult time, and there was no Rotherham fans in my school. I can definitely assure you of that. But being in a Rotherham school and still being one of the only Rotherham fans is a shock when you told me, actually. So what was the first Rotherham United game you went to, and can you remember the opponent and the result? Or
the first real memory that you've got is probably like sort of Wembley '96. That's the first real memory that stands out. I mean, anything before that, you're obviously young. There was games that I went to, but the first real memory is probably like the Wembley '96 game, I would imagine.
Yeah, obviously that was a brilliant day. I was there as well. Yeah. So what's the best Rotherham United game you've ever been to, and why? Why does that stand out as the best game you've ever been to?
I mean, there's a few. You could say there's Southampton at home, for instance, just where they were sort of in the league. Do you remember when it was? I think it was 4-2, I think, weren't it?
Yeah.
Other than saying the obvious ones is like the first visit to Hillsborough, things like that. Try and obviously sway away from that. I remember the other season, Wolves 6-4, even though we lost. I mean, in terms of a game of football, was up there. But if I'm picking a best Rotherham game, probably the Southampton game, I would imagine. That's one of the first memories as well. If it's not, it's got to be Brentford. The Alan Lee.
The Alan Lee goal.
Yeah.
So the Southampton game. What does make you stick in your memory from that game? Was it what really stands out that makes it come to the forefront?
I think it's just the giant killing aspect. I mean, if you look at our cup run of the late, it's non-existent. So more of the giant killing aspect. I think they were a lot higher than we were. And it was quite a big scalp for us, to be honest. And it's memories of Millmore. Yeah, obviously Millmore was just iconic to
special place.
Myself, yeah.
Right, yeah. So on to the next question. So what is your, obviously we're going to build your favourite 11 as well shortly, but
Yep.
what
Okay.
was your sort of favourite ever Rotherham player? If you had to pick one, who stands out as the best?
Easy question. Trevor Berry, Tricky Trev. He was my idol growing up. He made me want to be a winger when if I was playing football. Just yeah, I don't know what. Don't ask me why. It's just it just is.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Tricky Trev. I mean, I remember him. He was absolutely fantastic. Only small, but very sort of Messi-esque with how dynamic he was. He just used to be able to beat a man, and I thought he was fantastic. What's the best ever Rotherham goal you've seen? So actually, Trevor Berry features on that. I remember him scoring on Sky against, I think it was Burnley.
Mainly away, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that was a great goal. But what's your best ever Rotherham goal?
I don't know if it's partly because of the circumstances. I mean, Alex Revell's got to take a mention. The Wembley goal. I don't know if it's just part of the surroundings and how it come about. There's the Pringle strike at home against Wednesday. There's a few, to be honest. But if I've got to pick one, I've got to say Alex Revell at Wembley. I think it's just more for what it meant.
The occasion as well, isn't it? What the occasion of the goal that it was, with it being at Wembley. Yeah, a very special goal that one was. So who would you say is, so they don't have to feature in your best ever team, which we'll go through later, but who is the most underrated player that Rotherham's had that you think actually they never got the credit they sort of deserved, really? There's a few that can spring to mind, but yeah, just one that you think actually people didn't fully
maybe somebody like sort of Stuart Talbot. He was rated, but I don't think he took the plaudits that he maybe should have done. He did a lot of the dirty work, and he was kind of key to our squad back then.
Yeah, I like Stuart Talbot. I thought he was a good player. Another one that springs to my mind, I don't know if you remember him. So I'm a little bit older than you, but Neil Richardson. Do you remember Neil Richardson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was quite underrated. I think he was quite a decent, solid player. But yeah, and Andy Roscoe. Can you remember Andy Roscoe?
Andy Roscoe, yeah, dear me.
I think he was like, people hated him, but I thought he was. He tried his heart out. To be fair, I think he was a bit underrated, but yeah. So you're gonna hang your hat on Stuart Talbot?
I probably would say so. Like he probably wouldn't make it into an all-time 11. But he could be sort of a contender, and I think he did a lot of the dirty work, and it went kind of unnoticed. What he did. So yeah, probably.
So you've obviously, I know you've travelled a lot with Rotherham. Gone on away days with you. What would you say is the best away day and why?
So, taking obviously the first Wembley out of the equation, there was probably, I think it was February 2000. I'm going to say we played York City away, and Guy Branston scored a last-minute winner, and it was the famous Branston stomp. And I think that's the first time that there were people climbing up because it had the fencing in front of the away end.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah.
Climbing up the fencing. And I think it's the first time you've actually seen limbs in the away end, and that's one of sort of a fond memory.
It's a good away day.
2000, I think it was. Yeah,
good away day, York. So, what is your favourite ever Rotherham United kit? So, if you were to, we said this is the kit you're going to play in next season. Pick your favourite. What would it be and why?
Dear me, not spot. Do you know the one I did like was it was white and it had like red and black little bits on it, and was it 1-to-1 sponsor?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I like that for an away kit. It was quite nice. Wow.
You know, the one I really liked the most was the little red pinstripe one with Parkgate. We had Bobby Williamson playing for us at the time, and it had like a little collar thing here. I used to love that shirt.
Yeah.
And we got promoted in it as well.
The one that stands out the most, I think, is the 96 Wembley shirt. Probably because that's like the most vivid in its, your most vivid memory in your first memories. So, yeah, probably the older shirts, I think, were better, to be honest.
Super. So we're going to go into your favourite ever 11. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to pick your first player and I'll put him on the screen. And then when he comes off the screen, you can still talk. You'll still be there, but obviously the player will be on the screen. So we're going to talk about your goalkeeper. So your goalkeeper was, who was it?
Victor Johansson.
So Victor Johansson. So everybody remembers him, obviously because it's quite fresh in the memories. So why have you picked Victor? And was it a close decision or was it quite a simple one for you?
I mean, to be fair, the likes of Mike Pollock nearly made it. I quite like Matt Clark when he were at the club. But I think the thing with Johansson is you saw him progress. So he first came and he was a good shot stopper. And over the season, he just got better and better. And his shot stopping were just ridiculous. The only negative is we didn't get the money for him we should have got.
Yeah, we didn't tie him down long enough. Yeah. I do think he will go on to play for a Premiership club in the Premiership regularly as well. I think for me, obviously I haven't picked my team yet, but it's very close between him and another keeper. But obviously I won't mention that on here. But yeah, I think it's a great pick, to be fair. Your next pick, which I'm going to go into, I'm going to put him on screen, kind of shocked me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. Bit similar to Tom's pick of one of his fullbacks shocked me, but yeah, he had a few bad injuries when he was with us as well. So I'm going to pop him on screen now. So you've gone with Rob Scott, and so tell me the reason Rob Scott got into your best 11.
To be honest, it was him. Right back is one of the positions we've not really been blessed in. Now, when you've done this, you can write quite a few centre halves, quite a few midfielders, quite a few strikers, and you kind of go between them. Right back, we've not really been blessed. I think it was a toss-up between him and probably Ali Pickering. Now, Scott went for Marvin Bryan based on an own goal. Well, sorry, Tom, if you're listening, I'll raise you Marvin Bryan's own goal for Rob Scott's own goal against Wolves.
So we're just going for own goal merchants in
look, I just wanted to. There's not really a great deal of choice.
I remember that he had a good long throw, didn't he, Rob Scott?
Yeah, that's in it. A lot of goals came from the long throws as well. I mean, look, at right back, realistically, there'd be one person that you'd pick, but obviously we're a lone player, so I've tried to do it based on actual Rotherham players.
Yeah. And then onto your left back, a popular choice, as we've seen through the show already. So you've gone with Paul Hurst. So what was the reason for that?
Just Mr. Consistent, was at the club quite a while. Again, left back is not really one of the positions we've had a lot of competition in. So there was a few. I mean, I quite liked sort of Brogan when he was at club. He had a sort of lot of promise, but got a bad injury, didn't he? So it's not really been, But I think Hursty would make sort of many people's all-time 11, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously he was on Tom's as well. I think Tom had got him as left back as well. So yeah, good call. Another good call. So we're going to go to centre halves, and we'll start with Martin McIntosh. So why did you pick McIntosh? I think we know why, don't we?
Yeah, just it was good from corners. Obviously, he could score free kicks as well. He was just solid in the air. Obviously, I won't spoil it, but it's no surprise in terms of,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he could play a bit as well, McIntosh. He was actually better than you thought on the floor as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, his partner, a no-brainer, really, when you're picking McIntosh. Chris Wales.
It's
So-
the centre. It's the centre. It's the pairing together, I think, that does it. Now, I'd have liked to have put sort of like Arneson there. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite a big fan of Carrie Arneson, but
I love Carrie Arneson.
It's the Richard Wood could have had a shout, but it's more for the centre half pairing. Both of them two together is just they just matched each other, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean the centre half's difficult. Obviously, our sort of era will definitely be Swales or maybe Arneson, but obviously the older era, like my dad, when he's picking it, he'd be looking at sort of Dave Watson. Obviously, he went on to play for England, so I think obviously I never saw him play, so I won't pick anybody I haven't seen play. So obviously Dave Watson will come into a lot of the sort of older generation Rotherham teams, but for me, Swales and McIntosh, it's a very solid pick. So on to the midfield, and next we're going to go on to this man. So Lee Frecklington.
Yeah, I'd be very, very surprised if he didn't make everybody's 11, to be honest. There's a lot of competition at midfield as well. But yeah, we just epitomised everything about us. It were all over the place, and he was captain for a while. And I mean, yeah, look, why would he not get in?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make Tom's 11, but Marvin Bryan made Tom's 11. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think Frecklington. I mean, I was surprised we signed him permanently because I thought he was too good. We got him from Peterborough, wasn't it? And I was surprised he didn't get in there. And when we got him and then we signed him permanently, I was over the moon because he went on to be a great, didn't he, really? Lee Frecklington, and he'll always be well thought of. On to your next player. Obviously, this is one that Tom had also selected in his top 11. So talk to me about this man. Did he get it for the tweet against Sheffield Wednesday alone, or was it on ability?
I mean, in my opinion, I've never seen a left foot like it. He could have put a ball on a sixpence. His left foot were an absolute wand, and he could cross a ball as well, which is not something we've been blessed with recently. And we don't half miss his crossing at the minute. His free kicks, his deliveries. Yeah, you could tell when he came, one of them players, you can see that they've played at an higher level.
Yeah, I mean, that left foot were just... I don't think we've ever had anyone even close to him since he's left with that sort of delivery. But this next player that you've picked, he didn't get in Tom's either, but obviously he's made yours. Another player we had on loan, and again, I didn't think we would have tempted him to the club permanently, but we did. Dan Barlasser. So talk to me about why Dan Barlasser made your team.
Just to touch on that last one, the only person that I've seen with a left foot like Pringles was, I don't know if you can remember him, Martin Woods. He was about the only person I've actually seen with a left foot who was anything like Pringle, but yeah.
Yeah, Martin Woods, I did like him as well. Martin Woods is a good player, really good player.
But regarding Barlasser, it was between him or possibly Kevin Watson. Now, I looked at the difference in sort of the stats, and Barlasser scored more goals. I think why a lot might pick Watson is because there was obviously 2 promotions, but Barlasser, when he was here, was key to the promotion. And I just think he's another one who oozed quality. You could see that it was better than we were. Do you know what I mean? He just oozed quality. And I think for me, it was just more, he had more goal involvements that kind of sort of did it for me.
Yeah, I know Tom had gone with Kevin Watson, but I think it's a very, like you said, it's a very close sort of battle. They were both quality. The difference is Kevin Watson was kind of hounded by the fans at Millmoor. I remember the main stand used to give him some stick, which I never actually got. I think very much like Jordan Hugel, I think when they've played at a higher level, and they've earned good money, I think our fans sometimes just take an instant dislike to them for some reason. And if they're not running around 100 mile an hour like an headless chicken, then they're not working hard, which a lot of the Kevin Watson technically didn't have to run at 100 miles an hour because he knew where to be. So, yeah.
There were quite a lot of centre midfield that you could pick, to be honest. Quite a lot of players could have quite easily made it. I mean, I quite like Lee Williamson when he played for the club. He didn't make many
I love Lee Williamson, yeah.
But yeah, he was, for me, he was a very good player as well.
Yeah, Lee Williamson, he's one that may make my team, if I'm honest. I'm just like, I love Lee Williamson. I think when we had, you could just see he was like an athlete though as well. When he just get around the pitch, like just breeze it really. And he went on to play in the Premier League, didn't he? In the end,
yeah.
So yeah, good player. Your next pick is your favourite of all time, Tricky Trevor. Reason that you was a winger in the Rotherham leagues.
When I tried to play football, but just things you could do with football. It was just, especially when it's one of your first memories as well. It was just unreal, and he's there for a reason. He's my all-time favourite player.
Yeah, absolutely, great pick.
Special mention to Chris Sedgwick, by the way, as well. He is could be a big miss from that right hand side, but for me, I think my heart took over, to be honest.
Yeah, Trevor Berry. I mean, again, Sedgwick. I loved Sedgwick. Obviously, he come through the academy, and he went on to be an established top end championship player for me. So yeah, it's a very close call between them on the wings. The next one that you've picked, obviously, a lot of the younger people will know this one. A great pick. And why did you pick him? So, Chio Agbene.
He just used to excite you. When he got the ball, you kind of got off your feet and you thought, go on then, something's going to be created here. And it was just what you needed. And for a winger to get the ball and to run at somebody and to have the pace to beat them and to not be scared. Again, another player that we should have got a lot of money for, and we didn't. Disappointing, really.
Yeah, very disappointing. So you've gone for the one up front, and you've gone for basically a goal machine. So tell me why you've picked Adam Lafondre, Alfie.
Sheer goal scoring record, but he was also good with the ball as well. He was quite skillful. I guess you could say like a little bit sort of. You can't compare sort of Lafondre to sort of Nombe, but it was quick and he was good with his feet. Do you know what I mean? And obviously we knew where the net were.
Yep, fair play. So the next one, it's on to your who's going to manage this team. So the best ever manager to manage this team, and you have gone with the King Ronnie.
Yep.
Why did you pick Ronnie? Was it close, or was it not in doubt?
Probably not. I mean, it was during the era where you've got a lot of fond memories, where you kind of go into the matches regularly. You're an age where you can remember. Obviously, there's the promotions, and it's just been an old player as well. I think that affinity to the club is probably the reason why.
Yeah, super. So obviously that's your best 11. We've got a couple of more sort of questions to ask. So who would go down as your worst ever manager?
See, if I had to choose, I chose Mick Harford. Yeah, I know that Alan Stubbs was poor, but I think Mick Harford as well. I think he went like 17 games without a win. So we've had. I mean, there's been a few stinkers. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, probably Mick Harford if I had to choose one.
Mick Harford. Yeah, good call. Good call. Poor manager. Was a good football player. And then obviously the next one, very similar to the manager, but who is the worst ever player to put on a Rotherham United shirt?
I think for his attitude, I would probably say Dexter Blackstock, just for
Blackstock,
how he was at the club. I just think he thought that he shouldn't have been here. He was bigger than us, and it just didn't, for whatever reason, just didn't work out. I mean, if you want to go older than him, you'd say the likes of Gisbert Boss and people like that. You know, Brian Wilsterman. We've had a lot of
Gisbert Boss would probably be mine. I just need to do a shout out. Obviously, Dexter, if you are watching, I had nothing to do with it because I do play football with him in Nottingham on a Sunday night. So, so Dexter, nothing to do with me. Promise. He is kind of a legend in this part. So a lot of Nottingham Forest fans believe he was a quality player for them. I think obviously we're coming to the back end of his career when he was with us. He didn't play as much as people thought as well. He did have ability, but it just didn't work at Rotherham. Yeah. So I think it is a good call. Gisbert Boss's white boots always stand out for me.
Yeah. I mean, it was very close. There was him. I think there's like Brian Wilsterman. There's a few. I mean, if it weren't sort of Dexter, then Gisbert Boss would be the more notable one. Yeah.
And who is your current favourite Rotherham United player? So currently out of the squad we've got, who would you pick as your favourite out of that? It's an easy one for me, but
probably, and I don't think he takes enough credit, probably somebody like Sean McWilliams. I think he's the only one who will physically sort of get stuck in and, you know, let people know that they're there. So, but I don't think he takes enough of the credit sometimes.
Yeah.
He's played in a few different positions. Yeah, maybe if it was, Sean McWilliams also.
Sean McWilliams. And the next thing is, if you could change one thing about the club currently, what would it be? Hard ones, these, Rich.
I mean, it's got to be the sort of, not necessarily the recruitment side of it. It's more getting the players to sign contracts. So when you look at the last few years, for instance, I mean, there were Barlasser, there were Victor, there was Ben Wiles and Ogbene. Now, you could argue on paper there's a lot of money there, and we should have got a lot of money, and we didn't. So potentially that side of it, the fact that we're letting contracts run down, and why look, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but why are conversations not being had to say, what can we do to keep you here?
Yeah, I think looking after players would be a big thing. I think the training ground is a prime example. So that is where the player is. If you're working for Rotherham United as a football player, you have to go there most days. And if it's not a great environment and the facilities aren't great, why are you going to commit to that club for a long period? So for me, I think they need to get the sort of training ground to be at a level where players want to come into training. And like you said, an incentive to sign a contract could be, we know we're not Manchester United, we're not Real Madrid. We know players are going to maybe use us as a stepping stone, but put that in. So you sign a 4-year deal, we'll put a release clause in what we're happy with. And your guarantee, if you have an injury, you've got that length of, because it covers the player as well by signing a deal. But if you're going to openly say, if we get an offer for this amount, we will allow you to talk to clubs and we will not stand in your way of progression. That's the sort of conversations that would make a player. So look, you look at Sam Nombe now, right? Okay. We probably can't afford to give him a pay increase, but we're never going to keep him because we are going to get an offer for him. But if we put ourselves in a strong position by saying to Sam Nombe, right, for this period now till January, we're going to up your wages by $2,000 a week. So put him on sort of championship money, knowing there's championship interest there for him, if there is, because they know behind the scenes. And if there is, then that $2,000, you're never going to pay him because by January, you're only going to pay him, but you're going to recuperate all that money back and some, because he's going to have an extra 2 or 3 years on his contract, and you don't have to pay him the remainder of that deal because you've sold him. So you're never really paying that extended money, and you're getting way more money back that you invested in that player there on the sale. Do you get what I'm saying? So the club is in a stronger position. The player's in a stronger position because in the meantime, while he's playing, he's going to be happier. He's on more money. And obviously the club can then negotiate better with another club. And obviously, if the club's already negotiated a release clause, they're happy with that fee they've got when they've agreed the increase in wages. It makes sense. But for some reason, our football club never seems to be able to do that. And that, I agree with you, that is a point that I would personally look at trying to change, really. What has been your biggest heartbreak as a fan? So watching Rotherham United, is there a moment where you thought, oh my God, a relegation that stands out, anything like that? Administration.
Was it 06, 07 when we had the 10-point deduction when we were in administration?
Yeah.
I think that season even with a 10-point deduction, I think we still went down. So that obviously shows you a bad season. I mean, there's a few. You could say there was was it 16, 17, the lowest points in Championship?
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Another one that stands out as well is, if you remember, we had -17.
Yeah.
But do you know the thing about that is that we actually would have finished in the playoffs without the 17. So that shows you how on the pitch was a very good season. But off
that was the season. I think Sheffield United loaned us Stephen Quinn and a few other players that season. Yeah, we actually had a good side. I think we got what was the guy with the bald head, the striker we got from Sheffield United as well. I can't remember his name. Shaw, I think he was called. We had a good season that season.
But if you've got it, you've probably got to say the Don Valley years. I mean, it wasn't nice. You've gone from Millermore to being exiled to Don Valley. They were probably, as a Rotherham fan, they were probably the worst years, I would say.
Yeah. And what do you love most about being a Rotherham United fan?
Just lived in Rotherham my whole life. I don't know any different, to be honest with you. I couldn't. If Rotherham weren't here, I don't think I'd follow football. I'd be a football fan, but I don't think I could see myself supporting anybody else. It's just a way of life. I mean, I'm the first one at the minute to moan when they're not doing very well. But I'm just passionate about my club. Do you know what I mean?
Super. And is there a what's your sort of prediction for this season? So where do you think we're going to finish this season?
I'm pretty sure that I said to you that the win after Oldham, I said, will kick us on. And I mean, with 3 on the bounce now, there's no reason why players are coming back that we can't now kick on and, finish top off mid-table. We should nowhere near be going down in this league. It just
I still personally think we can, if we do it right. I think the league is that bad. I think we can still get promoted this season. I think we can still get playoffs, 100%. I don't think you've seen like anybody can beat anybody in this league. It's not a good league. The teams are not good. I mean, you have in Bradford and teams like Lincoln at the top of the table. They're not great teams. So
the only thing that's killing us is injuries. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah. And then have you got a sort of a match day routine or superstition? So on match day, what does Shelley do? Get drunk?
Me and my dad and just have a wander around town, to be honest. Don't really do anything much.
Do you have any superstitions or?
Not really. I did well. At one point, when I had sort of a lucky pair of boxers, I suppose, and I had my match day boxers. But I mean, they've kind of gone out of the window now with how we've been playing. But yeah, I guess I did at one point.
And what is your top 3 Rotherham moments? So obviously, I know you've mentioned Wembley, the Nigel Jempson. What's the other two? I think you mentioned Alan Lee as well.
Alan Lee against Bromford at home. Yeah. And probably because it was my first visit, probably Richie Barker at Hillsborough.
Oh yes,
because it was the
I'm
first
glad you brought that up, Shelley.
Yeah, I know.
2 years in a row as well.
Yeah.
Last minute, Hillsborough, mate. You can't. Dreams are made of that sort of thing.
It's just the whole sort of growing up, and as I said, I've been at school, and there was only like 3 Rotherham fans, and all you hear is like Wednesday United, and it was just the first visit, and it just meant a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the Alan Lee goal, and obviously Wednesday fans mock me for this, what I said, but it was the truth at the time because that's how I felt. I can remember going on the pitch, everyone running on the pitch, and thinking, we're going to be playing Sheffield Wednesday in the league.
Yeah.
And I was just because I never envisioned growing up getting all that abuse that they're in Europe. They've got players like Chris Waddle, David Hurst, and then I'm watching Gisbert Boss. Do you know what I mean? And I thought I'm never going to see Rotherham play these in a league match. I'm going to have to look forward to hopefully if we draw them in the cup. But then we're on, and like for the last up until this sort of season, we've been sort of more or less on a level playing field with them and regularly beating them. You know, I remember Matt Derbyshire the other year, Ladapo. Yeah. We always seem to beat them at Hillsborough. I remember actually playing them in the League Cup, and I think Ruben Reid were playing. Remember Ruben Reid?
Yeah,
and we beat them on penalties at Hillsborough in the Cop end, and I was on the Cop with my mates who were Wednesday fans. So I was sat on the Cop end where the penalties were, and obviously we scored and won the penalties. Now we're cheering, and near now getting this scrap with these Wednesday fans. But I were with loads of Wednesday fans as well, and they're like, but I couldn't, like, my mate's like, why you jumped up? I said, flipping it, mate. We just scored the penalty. I couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? Like, it just came out. But I was on the Cop end, but I didn't care. I got punched.
I remember, I think it was that. I think it was called Etienne Assayas that day. He scored twice for them, and I think he destroyed us. He ripped us apart, and he went off. And I'm like, I'm glad he's just gone off because he destroyed us.
Yeah,
he scored both their goals. Yeah,
some good memories there. So the next one, I've just got some quick fire questions before we go. So they're basically Warne or Hamshaw?
Paul Warne.
Stuart or Ken Booth?
Probably for New York Stadium, probably Tony Stewart.
Millmore or New York?
And then I've contradicted myself. Millmore by a mile. Yeah, it's just where you grew up. You grew up in a Millmore, typical old ground. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously that's the end of the show. Thank you, Shelley. It's been amazing. You've brought some good memories back to me as well. Because like sometimes you kind of forget over the years the really good times and sometimes the really bad times.
Yeah.
But hopefully the good times are coming back. Obviously, we've got who've we got next at home? We've got who's the next home game?
Barnsley Saturday, isn't it?
Barnsley, yeah. So we're away at Barnsley, aren't we? So I think I might be going to that as well. So I'll let you know about that. But yeah, anything else you want to share, Shelley, before we wrap it up?
Not really. I mean, I think we've covered most of it. There's one thing that I'd like to see Rotherham do, and that's obviously win a title, which I'm sure most people would. And I can't believe how close we got. And we were something like in February, we were like 9 points clear, and then come April, we were 6 points behind in third. I can't believe we threw that away at the season. That was just
I mean, I would like us to, because I could, like you said, the Southampton game, the FA Cup, but I can't really remember any sort of good cup runs we've had. You know, even Chesterfield managed to get to, was it a semi-final of the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Them years back, but we always seem to get knocked out early doors, and I'd like us to have a cup run and upset a few. That'd be nice.
That was a shocking away day, Chesterfield, when they beat us 5-0. That's got to be up there. We won at worst away days.
Well, that is my that was when Ronnie said he would if he had a gun. And he got sacked after that, didn't he? So yeah, that was a horrible, and it's against Chesterfield as well. It was on Sky. I think it was a Friday night as well, if I remember rightly. I'm sure it was on a Friday.
It was definitely
night.
on Sky. I know that. Yeah,
we had a good side then. We should have beat. I mean, we had the Alfie and everything, and we were doing quite okay, but that night just it all fell apart, and then sort of Ronnie lost his job as well. So yeah, it was a bad night. So I want to say thank you for everybody who's watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on Thursday for our Thursday night show. Thank you for watching.